This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, guys, we're going to call this meeting to order. It's 10:06. It's virtual. If you can mute yourself for the time being, please. Okay, we're going to roll through really fast, so if I go too fast, do stop me, but I am going to go quickly. All right. You want to handle the roll call and determination of quorum?
Yes, we do have a roll call. I would just ask if Board Trustee Hannity could turn on her camera, that would be great. And yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much. I appreciate it, Leah. Thank you. Okay. Yes, so we do have a quorum, and if you'd like, we can say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes, ma'am.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, liberty and justice for all.
We
Okay,
do
real quick.
we have someone might be joining us through the phone, but we can hear you in the background.
This is Commissioner Robinson. I'm on board.
Okay, Commissioner, if you can turn on your camera, that'd be great. If you can mute yourself, that'd be great. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of January 28th, 2022? Okay, we have a motion and a second.
Second from
got us
Representative Ivetta, from Representative Vanilla.
Okay, do we have any public comments?
Did we vote in favor?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a good point. I've had a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, none opposed, we'll move on. Motion's approved. Do we have any public comments? Thank you, Robinson.
We do not have any. Let's see, real quick. Do we have anyone out there virtually who would like to make a public comment? Okay, all right, thank you. Well, and real quick, Representative Ivetta, if we don't finish by 11, then you will be running the
Yes,
meeting. So
I have to leave it.
just be ready. Okay. All right.
Okay. We're gonna move on to finance.
Let's hurry up.
There are no items for finance. We can move on to administration.
Beautiful, I love it. Okay. I don't see, is Amy here with us?
Amy, she was supposed to be here virtually with us. I don't know if she is coming on. We're looking for a name to come on. If that's on her, then we can go ahead and I'll just make mention of, there's Judge Udias. Okay, Judge Udias, if you can turn on your camera, that'd be great. What I'll do real quick is I'll just take over agenda item 1. I would think that for the most part, oh, that's something new. Okay, for the most part, several of you have already met Amy Hernandez, but she's the district director for Congressman Tony Gonzalez. And so she covers parts of El Paso, Hudspeth, Jeff Davis, Presidio. She does not cover Brewster, but her counterpart is Jalen Falcon, and he's out of the Fort Stockton office. And so she wanted to just have, I know when we talked, she wanted to mention to you all that they're going to be having a grant tour roadshow, and that's going to be where they're going to be going to several communities to talk about grants, how you can apply. They're going to have some capacity building that's going to be available for the communities with offering their staff to assist with these grants. And so just be aware of that. And if you all need any assistance from us in terms of communicating with Amy and setting up meetings with her staff, we can do that. Any questions?
I will speak very quickly on Amy's behalf that she's been really great for our rural communities to reach out to us. So I will say that she's very available. Okay,
Here.
if there's nothing, move on to line item 2, infrastructure bill and EDA workshop by Nancy Gutierrez.
Yes, thank you. So I will briefly, just to let everybody know, we did have a workshop on Tuesday, and we facilitated that virtually. We had presentations from Congresswoman Escobar's office, Senator Ben Lujan's office out of New Mexico, as well as Congressman Tony Gonzalez's office. We heard from Connected Nation. And then we also heard from Grisela Martinez with Haciendo Strategy. So we have the workup recorded. It's on our YouTube channel. There's just going to be a amount of money that's going to be made available for transportation, broadband, as well as water. And even though a lot of the funding is coming down from federal to state agencies, there are going to be funding sources available where you apply directly to those federal agencies. So we think that it's just a really great opportunity for we'll just look at it through their Clean Bus program for the cities and counties in terms of their infrastructure and water and wastewater needs. And then obviously with the broadband, that will reflect on everyone. So we'll be working with you all on this initiative and just trying to roll out as quickly as we can when the programs become available. The other item important to note is that even though it's been appropriated, it hasn't been authorized. So several of these funding sources are not available as of yet. So until Congress makes that decision, we're in a little bit of a holding pattern, but at least we have an idea of what the funds are going to be, where they're going to which programs. If you all go to build.gov, that's going to be the website your go-to. There's going to be an Excel worksheet where you can drill down and look for specific programs. And so we'll be working through that initiative with you all, trying to identify what's going to be the best fit for you. Any questions?
Since this one's kind of important, I guess I'll give you a few minutes to ask him any questions.
Okay, your few minutes are up. Bill.gov.
Yes, and I'll send out the link to the YouTube video, so that way you all can take a look and see. On the broadband side, a lot of the money is going to go to the new broadband office out of the comptroller's office, and they are going to be having listening tours, and it's going to be 12 locations throughout Texas. On April 11th, they'll be in El Paso, and so it's really important for us to have a united front in terms of what our needs are, how we would want to see the funds spent, what kind of eligible projects. And so if you or you can send someone out, I don't know if they're going to be doing a hybrid where virtual is offered, but I'll definitely, they haven't identified a place yet, but they did identify the city, and El Paso is going to be on April 11th.
Any other questions? Adam? Okay, this is FYI, no action is required, so we'll move on to number 3, the office space lease, again by Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes, so you would never know that we've already been in this location for almost 10 years, seeing as how there's no artwork in our halls. That's something we still need to work on. We're almost done with the lease here at the Lockheed office. It expires September the 30th. On the memo, we're paying $14.50 a square foot, just a little bit over $160,000. And we've already had discussions with the landlord, Williams, to discuss the possibility of what it would look like if we renegotiated the lease. We have asked for some improvements to be made. Some examples may include maybe having a public restroom in the front rather than having public come all the way to the back to use the communal restrooms. That's one item. The others include just having been here as long as we have now, changing up some of the hallways, some of the offices, things of that nature. It's nothing too significant in our position, so we're hoping that as he's taking that into account, that the cost of the lease won't be that much more significant. We know that it's going to be higher, but I'm hoping that it won't be something that we cannot absorb in terms of the cost. Any questions for me? Okay.
Okay, FYI, no action taken. Okay, number 4, the CSETR and Keck facilities tour by Annette.
Yes, and so I did ask one of our one of the employees of the university. So it's the SCETR is they say center, and they say it's the Center for Space Exploration and Technology Research. So I'll stop calling it the Aerospace Center. But really quickly, we did have a tour yesterday that was facilitated by Dr. Shaduri and his group. We had a total of 13 participants, and several of you who were at that are here today. They were very gracious with their time. We were there from 8:30 till about 7. And this is all just another another example of the regionalism that we're trying to promote within our service area. We're really hopeful that the application that's going to be submitted by UTEP for the Phase 2 Build Back Better is going to be seen favorably, and that the funding will be made available. And it goes without saying that this funding is going to be transformational to our region, our entire region, if funded. And I would like to just give any of the board members an opportunity to talk about anything that they would like to highlight in terms of their visit with the tour, because I think all of us were just pretty much blown away with the work that's being done at those facilities. But anyone?
Yeah.
My question is, when you will receive information on how to build? Yes, about
Yes. So what we'll be doing through Peggy and Robert, Alec, myself, we're going to be working with you on the support letters and just ensuring that what you have in there is individualized to where it's really talks about your community. That was something that Susie Bird really hit on in terms of not trying to do that sample support letter, really talk about what's unique to your community. March 12th is when the application is due. And so those who are participating financially, meaning Van Horn, Culberson, and maybe more Culberson, ISD, those are going to be, we're going to take a little bit more time to make sure that everything that they need in there is going to be included. Because you do have that financial commitment. We're looking at the possibility of manning up 2 workforce centers, one in Van Horn and one in Alpine at Sul Ross. So you let me know also when you want to have this on your agenda for Commissioners Court for that support, if you would like that presented.
our court isn't until March 14th.
So you don't have one anymore?
I'm sorry,
You don't have anyone prior to March 12th then, right?
No.
Okay.
we could call a special meeting, and I'll be back in touch with you next week.
Okay, we can talk about that. So, and then also for the city. And so we're going to be working with the cities and the school districts. If it's required, if you all can provide that letter without going through your boards or commissioners or city councils, I mean, that's up to you. But if that's something that you would like to do, we can definitely. I'm just looking right now. We have a Mayor Pro Tem Gandara, as well as I think, and that's with the City of Las Cruces. So thank you so much for joining us, and Judge Urias is with us as well, and Judge Haggerty. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it. Anyone else?
Oh, I'm just to mention it that user passed it, but
Right. Yeah, I'll work, when I, on Monday,
Okay.
I'll work. Probably I'll get a commission.
Okay, thank you.
When do you think you'll have your special meeting? Because then I could have mine, and then maybe they could be on
Well, if you're,
Sunday. We'll
simultaneously.
talk Monday. How's that?
Okay. All right, we'll try to do mine.
did anybody else?
Sure. What is your date for your,
We have it on the agenda for Monday.
you have it on the agenda already for Monday? Great.
Okay, so yes, we'll be working with everyone, and again, just thank you again for taking all that time to be with us yesterday. I know that we're now, because of that, we're going to be better stewards, better ambassadors for our community to let everyone else know what great work is being done at UTEP.
We'll have ours on Tuesday.
Okay.
Anything from the virtual world? Okay. All right. Then I guess we're going to move on.
Better speak that.
Yeah, quickly. We're going to go to number 5, Bylaws Committee. This is Ms. Gutierrez.
Yes, and just so you all know, Mayor Webb will be the president next year, so this will be the frequency and
be it.
cadence of the meetings for next
I'll
year.
be back in person too.
Yes, so be
Okay.
ready. Okay, I am asking for approval to form a bylaws committee, and the purpose is to review and propose potential changes to this document, and it would go to the board of directors and ultimately the general membership. And one item of significant interest that is for me specifically is the consideration of having a board seat for City of Socorro. Mayor Avalos graciously chose to attend this meeting, and now she's serving as a proxy for us to make sure that we have our quorum. So thank you for that, Mayor. But in order to open up any sort of board seats or eliminate board seats, we need to review our bylaws and make revisions to those bylaws. And so just briefly, one of the reasons why I think it's important for us to consider this is that City of Socorro is the second largest city in El Paso County. They are a major player with resources, as well as partnerships, cooperatives that we have in different capacities. And so I would like for us to consider this. And then also, if there are other items to clean up within the bylaws, this would be an opportunity to do that as well. So if possible, we can either utilize the officers as our bylaws committee, or we can have other members participate in this bylaws committee as well. We would like to present the changes, proposed changes in July to the board, and then they would go to the general membership in September. So I think it'd be important to have at least 3 to 4 at a minimum. And so I would ask through the chair if we can open that up and see if anybody would be interested in serving in this capacity.
When you say committee, can that be virtually held? Can it be mixed, or do you feel like it has to function in person?
So what I would ask for, just to ensure that we're within the confines of the Open Meetings Act, I would ask for there to be a chair of the bylaws committee, and we can have that person be in person here at the COG, but everybody else can be virtual, because we just need to here.
Okay, and what kind of time commitment do you think that this?
I think that we would have it to where we probably would want to meet, we probably could do March and April 2 times, I would think max, maybe an hour and a half at the most for each, and then that we can complete it by then.
Okay, do I have anybody interested in being on this bylaw committee? I'm gonna stare at Curtis, because he turned away from me. I'll be on that. Awesome.
Okay.
I'll do it as well.
Okay.
Representative enough.
Well, if we did March, we could wait till the late March, so things can get through.
Is it something that maybe we could do the day prior to the general meeting?
We can definitely do a meeting before March, and that would make a lot of sense since some of you will be coming in. So we can make it the day before the board meeting.
Would something like that, or right after the board meeting, something like that, would that
Yes.
work for? Right before the board meeting. Right before, right after?
Mhm.
If that's the case, then I can do it as well.
You can do it too? Okay.
If we could do it like right before or right after.
Okay.
That would be great.
Should we volunteer representative?
I mean, he's not here, so
Or
that always
whoever's
seems
not here.
appropriate.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a
Oh, I'll
good way
do
to go.
You'll do 2? Okay, thank you, Representative Rivera. Okay, so that's 2, right? That's
Henry,
4
you're the
right there.
chair.
If I may, is there anything that Mayor Avalos would like to say, since we put you on the spot in so many ways now?
I'd just like to say thank you for the, for trying to get us for Socorro. It is very important to us, and hopefully we can, participate. Thank you.
Hey,
Do I have a motion to approve establishing the committee?
Second.
so we have a motion from Mayor Ramos and a second from Representative Rivera.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Go.
Any opposed? Okay,
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and turn over the other items to Marisa for regional services. But before we get to item 8, I'm just going to say a few words before Marisa does. Okay?
okay, we're gonna roll into number 6, statewide emergency infrastructure grant program, Far West Texas, embracing interoperability, and integration by Marisa Quintanilla.
Good morning, Board of Directors. Marisa Quintanilla, Regional Services Director. Requesting board approval to submit the FY23 statewide emergency infrastructure grant program application in the amount not to exceed $787,452.92. The project is titled Far West Texas, Embracing Interoperability and Integration, authorizing the executive director to serve as the grantee's authorized official to the Public Safety Office within the Governor's Office Homeland Security Grants Division. This will also allow Ms. Gutierrez to be given the power to apply for, accept, reject, alter, or terminate the grant on behalf of the agency. In the agenda item, you do have an executive summary You also have the resolution and the application. So let me just give you a background on this grant fund source. So this grant fund source is through the Public Safety Office of Homeland Security, and it is a direct competition statewide. So this application will not be ranked and scored or prioritized by the first responders. It will be the Public Safety Office. Eligible applicants are only state agencies such as DPS and councils of governments. So we have partnered with Horizon, the city, the town of Horizon City, to submit this application in a partnership to improve their communication systems. As you all know, or if you know, they're building a new law enforcement public safety building, and so some of that equipment at end of life will then be purchased to be P25 digital standards. So our partnership is with the City of Horizon on this application. The Council of Governments will procure the equipment and then transfer the ownership of that equipment to the City of Horizon, and then they in turn put it into their inventory system, and they're responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of that. In addition to that, with this piece, since Horizon City is one of the farthest jurisdictions, once we start getting to Hudspeth County, our plan is to integrate that center with our Hudspeth County PSAP with the EZNet project. So that is the integration piece of that.
Marcia, what is the line item for, maybe I read that wrong when I'm looking at, is there a line item for office lease space? Did I see that?
So that is for us. That is for the Council of Governments. You did see there's some charges, direct charges, that because we're going to be the fiscal agent, my time, my staff and my time as office space is going to be charged to this grant, as well as indirect according to our direct charges.
Okay, and that's office space here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not for them. For them, it would just basically be the purchase of the communication equipment.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I move to approve.
Second.
Look, I've already got them trained. Any other discussion? Okay. I'd like to, do we have all in favor, say aye. Sorry, you guys threw me off. So, everybody, any opposed? Carries. Yes. No, I asked. I said, is it any other? Okay. We're gonna roll on to 7, statewide emergency radio infrastructure grant program, Far West Texas, improving emergency communications, Bob Medici, continue.
Right. Board of Directors, this is an application requesting your approval to be submitted to the governor's office, to the Public Safety Office, Homeland Security. It falls under the same fund source. And this application is actually a partnership with Hudspeth County. And the amount of this application is not to exceed $1,406,305.43. And as you can see, also requesting the approval to authorize the executive director to serve as the authorized officer to the Public Safety Office, the Office of the Governor, Homeland Security. Again, allowing her to be given the power to apply, accept, reject, alter, or terminate the grant on behalf of the Rio Grande Council of Governments. Behind your agenda item, you do have your executive summary, and gives you a little bit about the project that we'll be partnering up with Hudspeth County. Hudspeth County at this time is currently still on analog, and so they have difficulty in communicating with other local, state, and federal entities because they're all digital. And so, and most recently, they did have a windstorm that actually took down some of their repeaters. And so this would be also the purchase of the repeaters, so then that can have that connectivity. This application is two-phase. The first phase is to improve their infrastructure to go and migrate to digital. The next phase in FY24, should this fund source still be available, is for us to go ahead and apply to replace the core, which is the core of their radio within the sheriff's office. We could not do that assessment through more timely to be able to add it to this application. So again, this fund source is supported through the
So, question, sorry.
Sure.
Please go ahead.
If this funding source is not available next year, does the core replacement or repair, does that qualify under other grants that are available?
It could qualify under the first responders,
Okay.
under regular SHSP,
Okay.
state homeland security
But the
dollars.
goal is to stick with this grant and to roll it into next year.
That is correct, because the purpose of this goal, of this fund source is basically to improve the statewide interoperability communications. And so by, should we be successful in this project with Hudspeth County, then actually that would benefit all state, federal, and local entities as they're coming or assisting in Hudspeth County.
Are there any, oh, sorry.
So the statewide competition,
Yes, sir, it is a statewide competition as well.
how are the chances look?
So under this fund source, I believe there's a little bit less than 10 million. And that's the reason why, because of the coronavirus, the state collections were down. So that's the reason why they did not release it in 22. So they wanted to kind of build it up a little bit. What are our chances? It just depends if any other councils of government submit applications. I know that the state, we had tried, if you remember, we had tried back in 22 to submit the one for Horizon, and then the state said, we're not opening it, go through first responders. And because it was such a high dollar amount, we couldn't fund it, right? You all couldn't fund it. And so the state circled back with me and said, hey, we opened it up. What are you going to go ahead and submit for Horizon? And we said yes. And then in turn, we ended up sending out an email saying, we're going to go ahead and submit for Horizon. Then at that same time, we were talking with Hudspeth County to provide another application for them. I'm hopeful. We have a good relationship with the public office, with the public safety office. It just depends on how many other, the dollar amount of other applicants.
Since that first attempt, did the price go up on it?
Yes, it did. It went up 21,000.
I mean,
Everything.
that's not bad considering the total price, but,
That's why I hope we get it all together. That's
what-
what
are there any other jurisdictions, communities, whatever the correct word is, that are on analog, or is this kind of the last one?
We do have some agencies and they're smaller agencies that do have both analog and digital where they can go back and forth. Right now, Hudspeth County does not that.
So,
They just basically have total analog. They don't have the dual band.
Yeah.
Radio communication representative, Rivera, the dual band where you go back and forth. And so, yeah, no, they don't.
Yeah, that's so important.
So they do most of their communications through the cell phone, you know?
Is there a possibility of, like, Jeff Davis County, a smaller rural community, to have the capabilities of beginning a daytime dispatch system and then switch over to say another digital?
Like Fort Davis handle it during the day and
During
switch
the
over
day.
to Hudspeth at night.
Where we could handle our incoming calls without going through Martha.
There's a possibility. You wouldn't be considered a PSAP just because of the volume of the calls. But I'm thinking that if we can do like a base council, you would have to dedicate somebody to it, 8 to 5, right? And then roll over the calls. That's similar to what other smaller jurisdictions do. And when Anthony, not Socorro, not Horizon, but Anthony and you all are served by the county, right? Alderman Cantu?
Yes.
Okay.
So let's go to the sheriff's office and they dispatch the marshal.
The marshal, right.
If not available, then we dispatch.
Right. So that's a little bit different, where Anthony and Anthony and Clint, they basically, and I don't know about Clint, I think Clint is like San Elizario, but they do have somebody managing the calls 8 to 5 and then transferring it at night. We can work something, and maybe it just means that we have to do a radio console and then flipping the switch over to transfer calls to whatever jurisdiction you want them to answer. We can look at that, sir.
for the future situation, do your response times, they get, are they delayed?
Oh, not
That's a
really,
different
because
question.
I mean, we have no one full-time in the, and that may be able to create a possibility of faster responses, is what I'm thinking. That's where, during the daytime, you know.
So your concern is that they're not, that whenever you call and it's like Hudspeth County, they're not able to get out as quickly to get it out to the local SO as somebody physically in person?
Yes, ma'am.
Volunteer,
And
they're not
that would
See,
all-
that's very important in law enforcement response time.
Oh, for
That's-
sure.
that's what it is.
No, we called the other night and Maritza already knows this, and we called 911 in Valentine from 3 different cell phones and it would ring, but we couldn't hear them. And so thankfully, I just happened to have local people's numbers and I got the dispatch and I called straight to the dispatch and they were like, oh, well, we could hear you, but you couldn't hear us, I guess. And so it was very frustrating because that's all we have. You know, that's what most people have. So.
During the daytime hours, I receive calls, hey, I can't get a hold of 911 and I've got a death or something like that. And I'm looking up numbers in order to get a hold of someone. So I'm just curious as to a possibility of creating an office
That
and
does
which
that.
would be funded, and if there is funding for it, or would it come off the county? It's just possibilities and thoughts.
Right. So I can see we can secure equipment either, it'd probably be through SHSP or through this radio. The funding piece would be for the equipment. I think what you would have to then invest, it would be in that full-time personnel. And so the capabilities, the functionality is there. It can be done. And we can look for funding to be able to get that done. Then your piece would be the personnel.
Well, and you could even do it regionally, right? Instead of it just be for one county, because you don't have that person in Presidio or Brewster or Jeff Davis, right? Can you put one, Brewster does,
Brewster does, but
but the other
Say-
2 don't?
Terlingua, Marathon, you
You-
may be able to open up some opportunities.
You could have a
there.
regional person.
We're also, we're beginning talks on a regional EMS service through the Tri-County area. So that would be something beneficial to our response times, definitely. So anyway,
Just loop me into the conversations and then we'll figure it out.
thank you.
Anything else on this item?
I move to approve. Second.
Okay, we have first a motion and a second. So all those in favor, any more discussion? I'm gonna get this one day. Any more discussion?
I think we
Did
have some.
somebody virtually raise their hand?
Leah.
No, she says,
Oh, no?
okay.
Judge Neely.
Judge Neely. Has to recuse himself.
Judge, are you trying to recuse yourself from voting on this one? Since it affects your county?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm assuming it does.
yes, sir, thank you. If you can put that in the minutes. Okay, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
He's our partner.
Aye.
Any opposed?
He's our partner agency. Yeah.
Okay, motion is passed. All right, we're gonna go on to number 8. I think Annette wanted to start this. Carbine Apex Cloud Native 911 Call Management System.
Yes, so Marisa is going to go ahead and go into this agenda item. I don't want to take too much time away from her, but I just wanted to let everybody know this has been, as Marisa said, her second child, and so she has done a tremendous amount of work in raising this I would say birthing this product, and now the child is here. But well, I'm not asking you to be literal, sir. Okay, anyway, so. But it really is important to let you all know the work and effort that she's been doing on this. Whenever there is an opportunity to be a pilot project, to be the guinea pig, so to speak, Marisa's always ready to go, raises her hand. And so she was one of the few COGs who were participating in the next gen system. And so when she was finally at the last stages of this initiative, it came to her attention that the current equipment would not work. And so she could have taken the safe road. She could have gone with products that other 911 entities have utilized, and she would have had a very safe path. But I think that's the one thing that Marisa does really well is just explores and researches And she went with her gut on this one, and I think that it paid off really well. So I just wanted to commend her on her efforts for this system. She'll go into it and also show you a presentation, but I'm sure we're all excited about this, but no one is as excited as Marisa that we're at the final stage with this initiative with Carbine. So I'll turn it over to Marisa.
So this baby only took me 7 months. Yeah.
Have I popped out my 3 children?
So first and foremost,
She'll beat you.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're good. One thing, you're good. You're good. If you all recall, Board of Directors, I sought additional funding from the Commission on State Emergency Communications back in May and was awarded $500,000 to move forward with this cloud native 911 call management system. You all supported me, believed in my research and my decision, and I thank you for that. I will tell you, there was a times I didn't know if it was going to work, and so anyhow, but it did work, and we're going to show a video. But we're fully transitioned over to we're the first in the nation to have a cloud native 911 system. And so you do have the agenda item, but I think the video just speaks volumes. So I'll just go ahead and go on to the video.
It's the first time in U.S. history that we have.
I didn't show it to you.
Cloud native call handling.
We essentially are the first call taking platform purely cloud-based.
Unveiling of the new and modern technology for the police department, which has put them really up to date now.
Provide that first responders with the capabilities they need to be able to respond to that situation.
It's very refreshing, and the industry's kind of like lagging behind for so long now.
We have to reinvent ourselves. We have to be at the forefront. We have to keep pushing the envelope. And we know things could be done in a better way.
Carbine has a platform that it's multimedia. Simultaneously, you can get text, you can go ahead and translate to whatever language, plus getting away with the legacy equipment and going into a cloud-based solution and those recurring costs. Honestly, like, pretty major. As far as like location goes, I mean, it's pretty much instant.
As a police officer, we respond to a lot of domestic disturbances. And so to have the ability to have the victim go video, so we can provide that video to our courts that assist us with the prosecution of cases, that's unheard of.
Should something happen to a region where our PSAP is down, then another jurisdiction can take that calls or those calls on behalf of our jurisdiction.
It's on the cloud. You're getting upgrades not every year. You're getting upgrades every 2 weeks, every month, with all the capabilities work. The system adapts according to the changing environments and technologies to your needs, because citizens, they're not going to wait. They're going to do it to make this device.
We're in Alpine, Texas, in the Big Bend area. We're very isolated. And this is one of the biggest projects, I think, that will enhance our police department and law enforcement.
I did have to go to many inquest calls because individuals that had crossed the border and had become lost were not able to reach 911, and so unfortunately they perished.
So irrespective of any other carrier, international carrier, an SMS link is independent, carrier agnostic. They can open the link in the browser and essentially get access to Alpine PD, location, video.
By doing this, obviously, it improves the lives of the constituents within our COG region. But I do want to thank the Carbine team from start to finish, because without their support and their team and the assets, the resources that they applied, we wouldn't be here. So thank you.
This is really a huge milestone, and I think this is very important for the whole public safety industry. And like, with any new technologies that we're seeing around here, there's going to be the new testers, there's going to be innovators. And I think this is very important. This helps other decision makers to see this technology work, how it can benefit, how stable it is, how robust it is. We as public safety vendors have to be there for our customers and provide them these solutions so they would be able to do their job better.
That's great. Thank you.
I want to thank you
Oh,
personally on behalf of TouchCom and myself for bringing in this fantastic system. We were the first in the United States, if not the world, to have this. So Little Alpine is out there.
Right.
And it's all because of your hard work.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. And just note that this, the Apex system is in all of our PSAPs. So Alpine, Brewster County, Presidio County, Culberson County, and Hudspeth County. So the beauty of this, obviously, you can see that as soon as that 911 call gets placed, there's a link that is sent to that individual's cell phone. If they want to go ahead and share what they're seeing with us, they click it, and then you can see how it pulls up on the dispatch center. You know, and the same thing with the dispatchers, they can take a screenshot of what's happening. The caller can take a screenshot and then send it back to the dispatch. There's a drunk driver on the road. They can snap a picture of the license plate and then send it back. And then you know, the call taker can go ahead and you know, send out first responders to assist. So domestic violence, the same thing. Kidnappings, the same thing. Especially in our remote areas where we do have a lot of immigrants coming across, they're lost and they don't know where they're at. Instead of setting fires like we've had in the past, they can go ahead and provide, you know, share their screen as to where they're at, their camera, and so they can be easily located.
And it's not a location, it's within 5 meters of where they're at.
Right.
It's
So what happens is before our equipment was, your location was based on the tower. It was based on the tower. This is device based. Your cell phone has a GPS. So it basically, when you're doing the tower, it pings everywhere, right? So just give you doesn't give you a very safe location. Whereas with a device location, it actually pinpoints you where you saw on the map where that individual is at. And even with migrants, we see that they do have the latest technology, cell phones. And even if they don't, they still have access to 911 because it's the law that those phones have to have access to 911. And you're at least able to go ahead and say, that person is right here. Another nice piece to this is that you do have Rapid SOS embedded into the software. Where basically if they hang up, the dispatcher, the call taker can enter that phone number and it actually will say, this is, as long as the phone is alive, this is where the person is. We did have that capability in the past, but the dispatcher was a standalone computer. So the dispatcher literally had to go and type in the information. So now this is embedded into the system as well.
I'm sorry, this gives you I'm sorry.
It's okay. Marisa, congratulations. I do have some questions. I know when we first talked about this, like 4 years ago, it is internet based, right? And
Correct.
so we know that there are locations, yeah, it's cloud, but you have to be connected to the internet.
Yeah.
So we know that there are areas, even on the highway, you know, I know that from personal experience. When we talk about migrants, there are areas that don't have cell service. Is there a way to kind of track where those, I was going to say hotspots, but that's not the right word, kind of where those gaps are and work with the current infrastructure bill and apply for grants to try to fill those gaps? Because it's a great service, but I mean, like I said, there's even small sections of the highway that don't have internet. I mean, we couldn't reach 911 if there wasn't someone from the railroad there. We wouldn't have been able to. And so we really need to work on, you know, the next step to this is filling in those gaps.
So I've been working on that for almost the last 20 years, Representative Anello. And because we only have 3 towers out in our region. And so the ask is for those cell companies to put in more of those towers.
Well, and I wonder if because technology has changed, instead of looking at towers, they build those small kind of receptors, which aren't as big. But there is the infrastructure bill. All of these companies are talking about how they want to expand broadband. If there can be the communication to kind of map out the areas that need that. I don't know if you've talked to the AT&T person here. Maybe that's the first step I can put you in touch. But this is an amazing service. I don't want this question to in any way say that I don't believe that, but there's another step to it. And I think if this may be the right time to start working on that with the dollars that are available.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to talk. Is it through FirstNet?
No, but we can figure that out.
But I thought that every phone has SOS capability.
They
And
do.
so even if you don't have service, your 911 call will go through.
Yeah, but it won't
Isn't
have
that-
the cloud service.
Well, it won't have the video. It won't have the video. So the way the infrastructure works is you have the call taker, and I'm so sorry. You have the card taker. I place the call. It goes to my carrier. AT&T gives us the call IP, which is internet. It gives it to Carbine. Then Carbine through the cloud sends that communication out. And we're getting away from using AT&T's internet and it's copper fiber. We're going with Big Bend because their footprint is different than the route from AT&T, because there is that redundancy, because AT&T's Big Bend is fiber and the other one is copper.
And then.
I forgot about
so
that. I remember that's what we
she
talked about
also
like 5
needs
years
to-
ago.
Well, and another thing to realize is that they'll send a link. So once they call, if they can get that call through, then the dispatcher will send them a link. And if they accept the link, right, or click on it, then they're connected and then they can get video.
But if they don't have internet service, it
That
can't.
is through the internet.
Yeah, through the internet.
Oh, okay.
Through the internet.
But I
So-
did forget that y'all integrated the system that even if you don't have service, you can at least call 911. I completely forgot about that
Yes.
step. But I mean, when you're talking about migrants that are out in areas where there's no cell service and the video is important. I mean,
Hopefully they have a good phone enough to say.
To do that, yeah.
Dying of thirst or.
I think Judge Evans also had a comment.
There is a situation or service available. Our constable has ordered it in order to, it's a repeater standalone that you can place in these areas that don't have a service, and they will relay to the towers.
Okay.
So that
That's
is a
certain.
possibility.
And we would have to strategically map out where their dead zones are.
Does it cost to Alpine?
Well, so the cost was in whole for all our PSAPs. The total cost was $490,000. Originally, I sought $500,000 as our ask to the state. And so it was about $10,000 less for the whole system,
You feel important.
right? I need it for the recurring costs because there is recurring costs. But to this point, Carbine and their staff, their engineers, they're still on site. If they're still visiting the PSAPs just to make sure, because we still have a couple of hiccups that we. So they're still on site. I mean, these people are coming from New York. They're based out in New York, and so for them to take the time to be here several weeks just to make sure that we're good, it's just great.
A couple of times there in Alpine.
Yeah.
Great customer service.
Right.
It's a key to all that.
What's that item?
I'm sorry, we're speaking on 8. It's information only. Is there any other comments? Okay, no, you're fine.
Congratulations.
We would
Thank you.
and I
No,
know-
thank you.
To Marisa for
No,
going above and
yes.
beyond.
Yeah.
So
Thank-
that we can, all of us in the rural jurisdictions can have a better quality of life. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
And we have a very photogenic group. All of you guys look great on camera.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Representative Rivera to take over for me on number 9, if you don't mind, sir. Step out.
No, that's wrong. It's 11, yeah.
Is it 11 already?
Yvette, I'm so excited about this. Is it finally happening?
Okay, moving along to item number 10.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you. Good morning, Board of Directors. I've not been before you in a while. Yvette Lugo, Director for the Area Agency on Aging. These next few items for me are just informational, and so just wanted to bring you all up to speed. This first one, we're excited, hopefully, to be able to bring forth the Aging to Perfection Expo. And this is something that I'm sure you all remember. Every year we try to bring this event together for our community here in El Paso. But it is a large-scale health fair for us that makes it important to bring all resources into one location to help people better have access to that. And so for the last couple of years, we had to cancel the event, obviously, because it's held at the convention center here in El Paso. And, you know, for fear of the virus and stuff, obviously bringing together a vulnerable population made up of older adults, probably not a good idea. So this year, things looking a little bit better, God willing, that we'd be able to do that again. And so that is now scheduled for August 31st here at the convention center here in El Paso. And again, this is our large scale attempt to try to bring together all kinds of resources that are available for older adults, family caregivers, adult children, trying to navigate systems to help their loved ones be able to manage navigating care and resources that are much needed. And so along with that, it's informational booths. We have different health screenings. We also simultaneously have educational sessions as well as entertainment that are featuring older adults on stage to purposefully bust the myth that just because you're older doesn't mean you're infirm or ill and can't be active. So we try to help do that as well.
That's like the best part.
I think so. It's very entertaining if you've ever been. If not, I invite you. I know it's quite early, but 6 months will be here before we know it. So August 31st is when we're hosting this, and this will be our 21st, which should have been our 23rd. But like I said, the last couple of years we did have to not host that because of the pandemic. So August 31st, please mark your calendars. I'll be sure to remind you all as we get closer to that.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
Might be get to have it again.
Yes, I'm grateful too. We'll see how that happens. Yeah.
So this is an information item, no action.
As well, yes, thank you, and happy to host this event. Again, this was supposed to happen a couple of years ago. The Aging in Texas Conference, this is something that is part of the Texas Association of Area Agencies on Aging, along with the Texas Association of Regional Councils, host this annual conference specifically designed for professionals working in service to older adults or working, in line of services to the elderly. In this particular sense, this is a professional conference, so we're happy to serve as the host agency here in El Paso. And so we've not hosted this event since 2006. So we're happy to have that back here in our part of Texas. Of course, that means everyone gets to travel here to our part of the region. Typically, this conference is held usually in Central Texas, parts of the state, but we vied for, and Annette was a big champion for that, for us to be able to host that here in El Paso. And so again, this is a professional conference scheduled to be held August 17th, 18th, and 19th. And it is for professionals. So August is going to be a very busy month for us.
2 conferences in a month.
Yes.
Yeah, the two-year gap, I guess.
I think we're making up for it. Yeah. So again, this is something that we, staff attend. Area Agencies on Aging heavily mostly attend this, but it's open to anyone, like I said, in service to older adults. So we see people, home health agencies, social workers, nursing home administrators, things of that nature. So it's a very high level educational type of conference designed for professionals in service to older adults. So I'm happy to host that here in our community. Yeah, usually it's between 200 to 300 persons that attend. So that'll mean, again, I'm always happy to showcase El Paso in our region. I think we've got so much to offer, and this gives us an opportunity to showcase some of the partnerships and programming that we do that can hopefully be replicated across the state. And of course, just to bring people to our region, that's always important.
And also just wanted to add that if, the reason why we had thought it was important to bring the conference here, because it was, when they were deciding on the next location, and it had just recently happened, the shootings in August in El Paso, and we thought that it was important that the rest of the Texas and those who are participating outside just know how welcome and loving our community is, and what a great place it is to live. And so that's the reason why this all started. Obviously, we've been delayed, but if you all have any ideas, those in the El Paso, we're going to be reaching out to Destination El Paso, reaching out to the county as well, through their commission, just to see if there's anything that maybe we're not taking into account where we can just showcase the community even more.
Anybody have any questions or comments?
I wish I could make a regional tour. That'd be even more fun, but I think we need an extra 3 days for that, just to do that.
Moving on to item 12.
which is the
Oh, yes.
Okay, so my final item, and this is also informational only, we had to make changes to our satellite office that's located in Marfa, Texas. In December, our staff member, Corina Campos, who'd been with us for at least 15 years, she retired, which rightly so, and has been a wonderful asset to the agency. She retired in December. And as much as we tried, we could not find a replacement. We tried to fill that position. It just it was not successful, unfortunately. So I had to make the programmatic decision to bring that position into El Paso County. And of course, this does not dismiss us from being responsible for the 6-county region that we serve. Obviously, having a satellite office and physical presence in there was important to us, but that does not mean that we will not still continue to serve all residents within our 6-county region. So we had to move that staff position, here to El Paso County. We will attempt, we're in process of filling that position as we speak. And so looking to that different service delivery model is just going to be a little bit different for those persons living outside of El Paso County, but we remain committed to being able to serve. All that means is that we're doing more things over the phone and making more of our presence known by having to visit more often.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's right underneath, it's underneath.
There we go.
It's a very pleasant noise, though.
Sorry.
Okay, it kind of brought us back.
Yes.
It was all
thank you.
times up.
It was a little. So yes, so that's okay. That the office in Marfa, Texas, we officially closed it, if you will, last week. We were out there picking up and closing up the office, doing what we needed to do to make sure. And thank you so much, Judge Guevara, for your space and the ability to be able to have a presence there at the courthouse. I think it was very important for us, as well as City Hall. We had time there and the MAC building too. So Marfa's been good to us, you know, and for many, many years. I've been here almost 20, and as long as I've known it, we've had good physical presence in the region. And so we'll see. We're committed to continuing to serve, you know, doing things over the phone. Staff are aware that changes are coming, and so we're going to split the responsibilities. And so again, as I said, that just means we're gonna have to visit more often. We do luckily also still have physical presence with our local government's office there at the MAC building. And so thankfully there is space for us. So the thought is when we come out and visit, there's at least a desk and a telephone that we can possibly set up shop with and, you know, at least have a place to call home, if you will, but continuing to, like I said, committed to serve the residents of the region. We continue to help with the meals program. That's all done by the phone. So senior centers funding is where we support that. Home delivered meals, we support that as well. Transportation through tracks, that's also supported through the funds of the AAA. And so really it's the physicalness of the staff member being there that I know we're gonna miss, and I'm cognizant of that, but we're still committed to being available.
Well, you're welcome, Yvette, and we really enjoyed having you there, having that office there in the courthouse. And I just want to thank you and Annette, because I know y'all went above and beyond to try to extend the advertising, you know, time period so that you could fill that position, but just weren't able to. Can be helped.
Jeff Davis County, we're looking at purchasing a 10,000 square foot building, and it's we're dedicating part of it to our senior citizens.
Oh, good.
So we'd really like to visit with you in order to help us help you, and also we do have offices that are open. So if you want to have a satellite visit into our county, please contact me. I've got plenty of space.
That'd be great.
Wow.
No, and that's definitely a space that I know that we need.
Yes.
You know, services for older adults. There, a senior center would be fabulous.
Well,
So we'd love to talk.
that is one of our projects is in order to purchase this building, is having a center. It's not in the middle of town. It's kind of off of Cemetery Road, but it's easy access. 10,000 square feet. We got 7,500 square feet open. So we're actively trying to purchase that.
Okay. That's good to know.
Grants and money and trying to put everything together.
Thank you, because we've been relying, I mean, we've had the relationship there in Fort Davis with Cueva de Leon restaurant. They serve the home delivered meals. And so it's quite unique. We're actually the only AAA or area agency on aging that has that partnership with restaurants. And so that was one innovation that we felt like we needed to do something for the parts of our service region that did not have senior centers. So there are actually two. Fort Davis is one. Cueva de Leon restaurant serves the home delivered meal, but a congregate site, that's even better. Obviously, we want older adults to stay active, come out of their homes, not isolate. So a senior center serves that purpose beautifully. So I'd love to have that conversation.
Been approached by some folks that elderly in the workforce, and I'm learning, being a new judge, I need to educate myself with your help in order to help.
Sure, happy to do so, Judge Gomez. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions? Okay, moving on to number.
Thank you.
Yes, so the last item is just the executive director's report, and just to inform everyone, Representative Schwartzbein and I attended the Texas Association of Regional Councils biannual training, and so that happened on February 9th through the 11th. Also facilitated a water planning group meeting in Alpine last week, and then we already talked about the infrastructure bill workshop. So there's not anything else for me to report under executive director's report unless there's any questions for me, but that will conclude my item. Okay, so if you would like to say any words on behalf of President Schwartzbein, you have the floor, Representative Rivera, if you'd like, or if not, we can move on to announcements.
On his behalf, not about him.
You notice how things went smoother without. No, just kidding.
We are recording this, thank you.
I'll send it.
Anybody have any other comments out there in the virtual world?
Okay, and then under announcements, Representative Rivera, we do have our next two meetings coming up. They are hybrid again. We're going to keep with this setup, make it as easy as we can for you all in terms of your participation. So we have March 25th and April 29th. We were just informed that MPO has their meeting on March 25th. Representative Rivera, can you remind us what time does the meeting start for MPO? At 9. And how many hours does it usually? It depends. Okay, so we'll keep with that date, but we're gonna see if possibly we can look at a different time. We want to make the next meeting available for Representative Rivera since he can't be at two places at one time. So these are the meetings that we have set, and we'll inform you if we make any changes, but we'll be looking at the time. I know that it's probably difficult for you all coming in from out of town to make that meeting late in the afternoon because you do have to drive back, so we'll figure it out. And that's all we have under announcements, unless anyone else has anything else to announce. Okay.
I moved to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, virtual world.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thanks, Commissioner. Thank you, Judge Neely. Thanks, Peggy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge Haggerty. Bye, Jonathan.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good night.
Do that.
A few has the gavel control.